ReImagining Cambodia invited Professor Sunil Gupta from Harvard Business School to share an experience on the topic of reimagine your business for the digital age. ReImagining Cambodia, whose CEO Mr. Ngon Sang was the first Cambodian to attend the Harvard Business School GM program, invited Professor Sunil Gupta, Professor of Business Administration at Harvard Business School, to share his experience on digital transformation on the topic of reimagine your business for the digital age. To their ReImagining Cambodian staff and associates at Sofitel Phnom Penh Hotel, Mr. Sang, ReImagining Cambodia CEO, said that we are extremely excited and honored that Professor Sunil Gupta comes to Cambodia to provide a framework for companies to reimagine the business for the digital age. The workshop demonstrated how technology has affected business and how the business will be doing as the result of technology changes. Professor Gupta was talking to many companies regarding this, and by and large he heard three answers. First of all, they use technology to cut costs and improve efficiency. He said there's nothing wrong in doing that because it's what every company should be doing by cutting costs and improving efficiency. But if that's all what you're doing, you may be missing the big pictures, as you may become the most efficient, but maybe the most irrelevant. And the second answer he heard from, we don't know what technology has in store for us. So we are going to do a bunch of experiments, he said. By doing experiment is a great idea, yet you can start doing 100 of experiments, but it may not add up to any. Thus, you feel the sense of activity, yet no progress of anything. And the third approach that the company tend to follow by setting up a separate small unit, hire young people, send them to startup study, and hope something will happen. Yet, it's not still a success. So, what do we do? The Professor Gupta questioned. Though there is no rocket science solution, but he suggested 4 things that each of the company should be looking at. First of all, reimagine your business. It is how you do your business and strategy differently. Secondly, reevaluate value chains. It's how you think about your operation differently. Third of all, reconnect with customer. It's how you connect with customer differently through digital or any means. And the last point he's mentioned is to rebuild your organization. And on top of this, I also have occasion to direct interview Professor Gupta, and there are some interesting questions. Hello, I'm Dara from CNC English News. We got here Professor Gupta from the Harvard Business School. Professor, it was quite a very interesting topic you brought in today regarding the digital strategy. So I have a few questions here regarding the topic. So how would you think that digital strategy will sharpen the direction of the SME, especially in a developing country like Cambodia? How would you think this will be sharpened the direction of the company?
So I think the digital technology provides a huge advantage to SMEs, because if you are a large established company, large established companies have difficulty moving because they're like a large ship. It's very hard for them to move. They have processes, it's hard for them to change. On the other extreme, you have startups, very young startup companies. They are more agile, but they have no customers, they have no resources.
Right.
So SMEs are somewhere in the sweet spot.
Right.
They are big enough that they have customers, but they're also not that big that they can't move as quickly, right? So I think SMEs now potentially have a competitive advantage, better than startups and better than those guys. But they have to leverage the technology in the right fashion. They've got to change the way they think about business.
Okay. Do you think that they should be thinking about this digital strategy already? Because technology now is really hard to catch up. You know, it should be a right time for them to start thinking already, or what should the SME should be doing regarding this topic?
So my view always is don't start with technology, start with a business problem.
Okay.
And so if you, at SME, you sort of understand consumer behavior has changed. People, for example, are much more focused on convenience because they're used to buying from Amazon or e-commerce platforms. So you got to change your behavior, you change the way you do business in line with the consumer expectation, which have changed because of technology. And whatever technology helps you do that, that's perfectly fine. But I would not start with technology, because otherwise the technology in search for a solution. You start with a business problem and find the right technology to solve that.
It's very interesting. Last but not least, because 5G is the very new technologies, and do you really foresee 5G will be like a game changer for the telco industry?
So it is potentially possible, but I think, again, the telecom have done lots of innovations with 3G to 4G and now 4G to 5G. I think technology by itself doesn't do a huge amount of benefit to telco. they have to find some interesting use cases that 5G can do that 4G couldn't do. And then they have to monetize that. Because, for example, when the world moved towards mobile phone, everybody believed that telcos will be the ones who will benefit because they are the ones who do mobile phones. But they did not, because they didn't leverage, whereas some other companies leverage that much more. So I think 5G certainly offers a huge potential to telecoms, but it doesn't guarantee that they will take their advantage.
Since it's really quite new to the industry.
Yes.
To that same topic again, we've been hearing about digital marketing. Should that be a new approach for like SME or company to look at it? Because like people now moving to Facebook, and all of these social media platforms. Should that be the right approach for all the companies to do their marketing strategy now?
Absolutely, and I think the reason is very simple, that the traditional advertising, whether it's newspaper or television, is very expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And only large companies with big budgets could afford it. Whereas social media advertising on Facebook or on Google is a lot cheaper. So small and medium-sized companies that couldn't afford a television ad can easily afford that. And by the way, more consumers are moving in that direction anyway. So I think it provides a huge opportunity to level the playing field for the small companies to fight against the large guys.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Gupta. It's so nice and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you
welcome to Cambodia too. Thank you.
you.
Thank you for being with us. This is all for today and have a great weekend. I see you again next time.